You don't have to have a perfect relationship for it to be beautiful, and then sometimes you do fight and sometimes you do have to work through stuff, but in the end it grows you, and that's what this painting is about: growing together, working through things together, moving through life together. And truly that is the essence of the piece. It's about oneness and unity. Hello and welcome! I'm Matilda, and I'm going to talk to you today about this painting titled Growing Together. I am just brimming with excitement because I've been wanting to make this video for years. I created this painting in early 2019, so 3 years ago, and I've been wanting to make a video about it ever since. However, I have waited till the absolute last minute. This painting is going to its new owner this evening, and it's been sold now for a month, so I've known that this painting is going to its new home, and yet I waited till the very last minute to make the video, which is this morning, the morning of the day it's going to its new home. So I think the reason for that is because this piece has been one of the most personal pieces I've ever created, and it has so much just like deep feeling and emotions that are surrounding it, that trying to talk about it is one thing, kind of impossible, but also, you know, putting into words, but also talking from that very personal place is gonna be fun. I'm excited to do it, but definitely different. And that is because it's about a topic that I would like to talk about more, but then I'm still working and growing in that area, and I always will be, of course. Like most areas in life, we continue to learn and grow throughout life. But anyways, this painting is about love, particularly romantic love. So it's got all of those very exciting emotions in it, and this piece, I'll even share a story of how it impacted me in my relationship with my husband, that even healed pieces of me and helped me to be able to continue in a relationship of love and joy. So anyways, this piece is titled Growing Together, and if you look closely inside of the snowflake here, there are two lovers, and those two lovers can be anybody, but I see them as myself and my husband Sam. And of course I also see them as like a picture and a symbol of true love and universal love, and also the love of divine love with the human as well. And I know a lot of people that talk about like male and feminine energy being connection that you have with yourself on the inside, because we all have masculine and feminine sides to us. But this piece is about two separate people, two humans coming together as one. And truly that is the essence of the piece. It's about oneness and unity, and the title really describes that, growing together. And in a romantic relationship, any relationship really, but I'm just going to be speaking about a romantic relationship from my experience, that can be the challenge of a lifetime, to become one with someone else who is everything to you, but also so different and just insanely, just such different pathways coming together. And in romantic relationships, it's very important for those two people that have lived two separate lives up until the point of meeting each other to continue on in the same path, growing together. And that was some advice that was given to me way back, who knows when, who knows where, but someone, I can't remember, they just said that if you want to stick with your life partner for a lifetime, it is about growing together and not growing apart. And I am still obviously learning all of this stuff because I've only been married now for 3 years, and you know, like, what kind of experience do I have from that besides that it's hard? But that challenge that comes with it is so fulfilling, and it's not anything you'd ever trade for any other life. And you know, it's just like, this is the absolute most beautiful thing that has ever happened to me, to fall in love and to be with someone who treats me beyond what words could explain in a good way. So I wrote a poem about this piece that I'd love to share. I wrote the poem while looking at the artwork, and the artwork inspired the poem. So it goes like this. Love, that connection, that growing connection, that strong, delicate design, that interwoven, heartfelt thing that no words could ever explain. That poem really sums up what this painting means to me. I'm very excited about the sell of this piece. The sell has been the best feeling sell that has ever happened. Someone bought it as a gift for another person, and I'm giving it to them on their anniversary. I know the people who are receiving it, and I know the connection that they have with it because they've talked to me about it, and their connection is so much like my connection to the piece and what the piece means for them. And I find it extremely empowering and inspiring. So just like, I can feel it in every ounce of my being, how mine and Sam's love can inspire someone else's love. And this is something that I want to see expand throughout my artistic career. I'm definitely going to be painting about being in love a lot more, and I'm hoping to talk about it more too. It's really a matter of coming to a place of being like, yes, I have value to offer in that area, even though I'm still learning and still like working through what it means to be in a relationship with someone else, because there's nothing like a relationship to dig up and draw out the fears that you have and the insecurities that you have and the any kind of disempowering beliefs. Not that love is a bad thing and that drawing up those fears is a bad thing. It's helping you draw them out so you can get rid of them, so you don't have to hold on to them. And really, there's been no one in my life who's ever taught me as much as Sam has, and not even by him trying. And that's what's so beautiful about a relationship, is you get this wonderful growing and healing process that both people are working through together, and then creating that strength that you have in that relationship between one another. But you're not having to try, you're not having to do anything. And being in the beginning of a relationship, it has been maybe more challenging than I think it will be. I've already noticed within the last few years it getting easier, and I've heard a lot of stories that people have said about the beginning of marriages being challenging because you do have people that are still shedding off their two separate lives. And to some extent, what is so paradoxical and beautiful about coming together is that you are two separate people, and that you have those separate freedom. You have freedom apart from one another, and you have a life apart from one another, which is healthy. But at the same time, it all comes back, like the foundation is the togetherness and the unity, and it is the ability to take those separate directions and find a unique pathway where they intersect and interlock. And something that really warms my heart about this piece, and the fact that this piece is going to the person that it is going to, is that I was talking to one of the partners in this relationship that are going to be receiving this piece. And they said that they loved how the legs of these two lovers are interwoven like DNA. And I was totally mind blown. I was like, oh my goodness, yeah, they are. That's awesome. And their interpretation of it really strengthened my own, because it's quite amazing. I, didn't plan that, but it is amazing how you are interwoven and you're coming together, and it's almost like the DNA is like the foundational structure of who we are, and you're becoming one. And in not only, physical, sexual ways, but also with all of who you are and all of your emotions and desires and dreams and communication, really, because when you do have a dream, like I do with my art, it's a very strong dream, and you have, you may come to a crossroads in life where certain people have to fall out of your life because you have certain directions that you're headed and they're not ready to go there with you. So being able to communicate about things that are not even here yet, the future, being able to communicate about what you want out of life and finding someone who's able to mirror that and to support you through that. And really the support that has come from Sam for my artwork has been huge in my confidence level and in my success. And not that he was trying, but just because of his love and how love is able to support another and grow another and strengthen another without even trying, because of how much love you do feel. And both of you together, when you put that love into a dream, into one single direction. And this is something in my relationship that we're still figuring out. Probably a lot of people are figuring out, where do you put your love and what do you pour your love into? And I think a lot of people do decide to start a family and pour that into their family, and some people don't. So it's really a matter of figuring out what you two, the two individuals, hold as a vision together, and sticking with that, sticking with one another through the thick and thin, and yeah, just sticking together. In the background of this piece, there's some of my favorite things. Frogs and mushrooms, duh. I've got flowers too, of course. There's some ladybugs, bumblebees, hummingbirds, something that was supposed to be a squirrel that didn't really turn out to look like a squirrel, turtles, lots of vines, lots of flowers, oh, a bunny, a swan, another bunny, and then obviously lots of frogs. There's a dragonfly too. So that intricate design is kind of a reflection of what a snowflake represents, which is something tiny and small and not easy to see. I like the idea of intricate things, like a snowflake. Tons of little snowflakes piling up, and as a whole, they just look like a beautiful giant white pillow, but then up close they're so tiny and they have their own unique design, and each relationship has its own unique design. But also when you just have to look so closely for little details that maybe you'd miss upon first glance, it's kind of like saying there's so much more underneath the surface, so much more than what you can see. And it's like that a lot with relationships. Something I'd like to encourage others in is the area of like sticking through fighting, and just knowing that that is kind of normal. Of course it's not ideal, but there's no relationships out there that are completely perfect, and sometimes from the outside, from the surface, you can see someone's relationship and you can think that, oh, it's so perfect, it just must be so great. And you don't always see what goes on behind the scenes and everything that you have argued through and worked through, and all the work that's gone into being able to see eye to eye and being able to understand each other. And to some extent, I just like to encourage people to know that you don't have to have a perfect relationship for it to be beautiful. And then sometimes you do fight, and sometimes you do have to work through stuff. But in the end, it grows you. And that's what this painting is about, growing together, working through things together, moving through life together. So I do want to tell you a little bit of a story of how this painting really helped me one time. One time, Sam and I were fighting, and it was so bad. Later, he told me he thought I was going to leave him, and it was just like, you know, the most dramatic thing ever. And I just needed some space, so I went to, I drove down the mountain, and I was just walking around town. There was like a free concert going on, and there was lots of people, so I was just like, I felt kind of invisible, just like walking, and nobody was really there for me and stuff. And I thought, I got my artwork hanging in a nearby restaurant. I'll go and see my goat painting that's hanging there, because that'll cheer me up, and he's a cute little goat. So I go in there and I go to stare at the goat painting, but then I just look at this piece, because this piece was also hanging there, and I just stared at it, literally crying in the restaurant, just looking at my artwork. And there's Sam and I in the middle, and I just felt all of the feelings that I felt when I was painting this rush back to me, and it was just this wave of healing and a wave of love. And I was just remembering, like, yeah, maybe we're arguing right now and things aren't perfect, but there was a point where I was painting this picture of us, and I just remember while painting it sitting on the couch and just staring at it and just like daydreaming, because he's about to kiss me in the picture and our noses are touching. So super personal, just like feelings of love, obviously, and being in love, and hard to explain, but those feelings came through to me through the painting. And I had felt them before, so they were familiar feelings, but I think that also that kind of healing can come through for others, and that is one of the big visions of my work, is to bring healing and those emotions to other people and help them work through stuff that they're going through. So others too, who have felt those feelings of love, can see this painting and be reminded of that. And even if that love is lost, they can still be reminded, or even if it's on the verge of being lost, you can still remember and enjoy that wonderful feeling of just awe-encompassing love, of just everything around you is at peace, and inside of you is at peace, and there's a connection that brings wholeness. Not that you're not whole single and on your own, but there is a reflection of wholeness in another, and a completion that they bring to you that you wouldn't have had without them. Although I'm not saying that you need relationships to find completeness in life. There's a lot of ways to do that, but relationships are truly a beautiful way, and a beautiful picture of the divine love that we can all feel from just the source of love and the source of joy and compassion, because truly relationships do involve all of the emotions, but compassion and forgiveness are huge ones. Grace, on both sides of the relationship, both people have to be gracious of one another and forgiving of one another, and that lesson is truly a beautiful lesson. So anyways, that's about what I want to say about this piece. And as far as the story went, I did not break up with him, and we got back together and all was well, and I called him after seeing the image, and we talked about it, communicated about it. Communication, along with forgiveness, communication, definitely. So thank you so much for watching this video. Please let me know what you think and share it with anyone that you think might enjoy it. Thank you. Bye.